G'day champions, it's Stuart Stone here from healthandfitnessover40.com, and it's time for another quick tip for an awesome 2018. And today's quick tip is called the vitamin D secret. Now what do I mean by that? Well, vitamin D is super important for your health. In fact, it's implicated in reducing your risks of so many cancers and other lifestyle diseases. In fact, let's have a quick look at the research and see what that has to say.
Okay, we've got a lot of information to cover here, so we're going to fly through this. If you want to slow down and have a read yourself, the links to all of this research are going to be in the description box below. So, the Vitamin D Council says the two main ways to get vitamin D are by exposing your bare skin to the sunlight and from supplements, because you can't get the right amount of vitamin D your body needs from food. Now, you don't need to tan or burn. You only need to expose your skin for around half the time it takes for your skin to begin to burn. So it depends on your skin type, how long you stay in the sun. You can also get vitamin D by taking supplements. Vitamin D3 is the best kind of supplement. So why is vitamin D important? Well, here's the connection to health. So the vitamin D made in our skin travels through to our liver, where it's converted into a vitamin D metabolite. So the vitamin D3 supplements that we take is important because it's the most easily convertible into that metabolite. Stored in the liver, and when we need it, the vitamin D is transported to the kidney, where another enzyme converts it into a supercharged vitamin D metabolite, which is 1,25-D or 25-OH-D, which is 25-hydroxy-D. Now, the metabolites, the supercharged metabolite 1,25-D, does most of the important work for vitamin D in our bodies. It's about 1,000 times more active than the storage vitamin D. And it only survives for 6 to 8 hours, whereas vitamin D can be stored in the body for approximately 3 weeks. There is a link that suggests that certain diseases might be more common in areas of the world where there is less sunshine and consequently less vitamin D. So here's some of the evidence they're talking about. So in the Northern Hemisphere, communities that are further north tend to have more type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, breast cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, and other diseases. So in other words, vitamin D is a contributory factor, or deficiency is a contributory factor to numerous diseases. So if the 125-D remains low, the risks of several diseases increases. And here's the kicker, and this is where you can actively impact your health and well-being. Animal protein containing foods cause a decrease in the 125-D. Also, if you've got high calcium consumption, well then it lowers the activity of the kidney enzyme, and again you've got lower 125-D. So what? Well, let's see what the implications of this means. Well, when you have more animal protein, you also enhance the production of IGF factor 1, which is insulin-like growth factor 1. That's implicated in increasing your risk of various cancers. So when you got low 125-D in the blood because of less exposure to sunlight and higher IGF-1, you're more predisposed to cancer because you're getting an increase in the reproduction or birth of new cells and a slower rate of removal of old cells. In other words, the take-home message here is animal-based foods like meat and dairy lead to more IGF-1 and less 125-D, both of which increase your cancer risk. So that information is taken from my summary of the China study, and if you want to get your hands on a copy of that, down in the description box below this video, you'll see a link that says, "Stu, give me my free summary." Click on that link, that'll get you the summary of the China study. So, what's the implications of this in the research? Well, we're going to fly through this research. Again, the links are down below. But sunlight and vitamin D for bone health and prevention of autoimmune diseases. So, vitamin D deficiency is an unrecognized epidemic among both children and adults in the United States. So, you can also suggest that that's the same for all of the Western world. So vitamin D and chronic diseases. So it's a member of the steroid hormone family. So vitamin D isn't technically a vitamin, and it has a classic role in regulating metabolism of calcium and a non-classic role in affecting cell proliferation and differentiation. In other words, cell turnover. So that's why it can be implicated in increasing or decreasing your risk of cancer. But because it's a member of the steroid hormone family, in an ideal world, you want to be getting natural exposure to your sun so your body converts what it needs into vitamin D, as opposed to, say, taking a supplement where you may be overdosing or underdosing and potentially messing up your hormonal balance. And vitamin D and cardiovascular diseases. So, low levels of vitamin D are also closely related to the occurrence of cardiovascular diseases and also high blood pressure, hypertension. It also affects nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is important in keeping the blood vessel walls elastic, so it's also implicated in erectile dysfunction because when you don't have elasticity in the blood vessels, they become more rigid. So nitric oxide levels are one of the key chemicals in improving blood perfusion through the small blood vessels, and in this case, the blood supply to the penis. So it's a contributory factor to erectile dysfunction. So if you have a look at the video that I did, Better Than Viagra Without the Side Effects, we have a very good smoothie in there that you can make to improve the blood perfusion and your nitric oxide levels in your blood, and I'll put a link to that in the bottom corner of the video at the very end. Vitamin D and diabetes. So if you're vitamin D deficient, you have higher insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes risk. And then vitamin D and neuropsychiatric disorders. So you are more prone to depression and also Alzheimer's, dementia type symptoms if you are low in vitamin D. And finally, vitamin D and other diseases. Again, the list is long. So multiple sclerosis, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, that's what OA is there, and chronic kidney disease, as well as non-alcoholic related chronic hepatitis.
Vitamin D, super important to your health. And again, you saw from the research that the best way to get vitamin D is from the sun. However, if you live in a country like Australia where skin cancer is a big risk, so often I get, but Stuart, you can't go out in the sun, your risk of skin cancer goes up. I'm going to just blanket say garbage. Let's be smart about things. That's what we do here at Health and Fitness Over 40. We give you smart solutions so you can win. You can win from the benefit of getting natural exposure to vitamin D without increasing your risk of skin cancer. So how are we going to do that? Well, number one, during the summer months in Australia, they say don't go out in the sun between 10 AM and 2 PM. So get up earlier, get out in the sun from 8 AM to 10 AM during the day, or after 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon. You still want to change down, you still want to expose yourself to the sun. You want 20, 30, 40 minutes of direct sun exposure to about 70% of your body. So that means changing down, that means getting on the beach. And if you're self-conscious about that, well, guess what? There's a bunch of videos in here that help you become more confident with your body, because you're going to be losing excess fat, getting fitter, getting stronger, and feeling better about yourself. So it's a win-win there. But also, if you're still concerned about that, and also, there's a lot of chemicals in sunscreens. A lot of them are now being implicated as increasing your risk of skin cancer. So how do we get around that? Well, here's another tip. In fact, you get 2 tips today. Bonus round. See, we over-deliver here at Health and Fitness Over 40. But the bonus tip is use coconut oil. Coconut oil has an SPF, in other words, sun protection factor of between 5 and 8. In other words, it takes 5 times longer for you to begin burning, so get coconut oil on your skin. And hey, here's a bonus tip. 3 tips for today. You're on a winner, guys. So the 3rd tip for today, use it for massages. Use it to connect with your loved one. And the 4th tip, the bonus tip, man, we are just giving and over-delivering today. The 4th tip, it's a beautiful lubricant for sex. Unless you're using condoms, in which case the oil and the latex may not mix, but I'll leave that up to you. Use your imagination, use your creativity. Great lubricant, great massage oil, great sunscreen, and you can get your vitamin D intake without being out in the sun during the worst times of the day. So that's today's quick tip, and for more tips like that, make sure you come over here and click on the red heart apple and subscribe to our YouTube channel. While you're at it, go down into the description box below, give our Facebook page a like, and be sure to share this information with the people you love and care about. And that's today's quick tip.